In 2012, I quit my job at a billion-dollar private equity fund to do a startup. And at that time, I was in a mad rush. I wanted to very quickly build a large company, raise tens of millions of dollars in capital. And this rush, this crazy, mad rush, is what caused the failure of my first startup. And the reason I want to share this story with you is this story is not about entrepreneurship. This can happen to any one of us. So I don't want you to make the same mistake that I made. So that is why I'm going to tell you what happened. So when I quit my job, I wanted to build a tech company, specifically in education. It was called Course Pro. But there was one problem. I think I had an idea, and the idea I still think was very solid, but I did not have any technology experience. So now what do? I thought, let me just try to find a CTO. So I looked for a tech co-founder or a CTO, but I could not find anyone. Now what do? Next option. Somebody said, why don't you just learn tech yourself? But then I thought, do I really have the time? It will take many, many months. And technology, if you start learning coding, it takes time. It's not a very quick thing. But I did not have time because I wanted to do the first round of fundraise in 3 months. And then 6 or 12 months later, I could do like a much larger fundraise. So maybe in 2 years' time, I might have like a $50 million company. So that was the priority. Learning, who has time for learning? You can always hire some people. This is the mindset I had. In that mad rush, I looked at other options. So I said, okay, let me just try to find some IT services company. So I'll outsource it, which per se doesn't sound like a really bad idea. But here's what happened. First of all, I had no idea about technology. So I made some choices about what technology stack to use, what programming language, etc., etc. And those choices, some of them turned out to be not very good choices. Second, I hired this IT services company and they had some people who were working on my project. But this company also, they were not very good. And the people on their team working for us, they were not committed at all. In fact, they were so irresponsible that for most part of that next 1 year, I had to literally go to their office and sit with them just to make sure that they did the job. Now think about it. Since the work was going on very poorly, and on top of it, I also was doing all this for the first time. So I also did not have an idea. What I thought would happen in 3 months soon became 6 months, then 9 months, then 1 year, then 1.5 years. And finally, when I look back, here is what I realized. I had spent almost 2 years and crores of rupees and 2 years of my precious life working really hard in some ways, but not getting anything done. One day I was thinking, what if I had not done any of that? When I left my job, let us say, if I had said, okay, I'm just going to sit and learn coding for 1 year. I know it sounds crazy. Why would somebody leave a job with an investment fund and learn programming? But let us say I had done that. I had done nothing else. In 1 year, I would have achieved, if not mastery, certainly a decent level of expertise. Second, that 1 year, whatever I built, that thing had no value because I really could not make it a useful product. So I would have not built something which was not useful. I would have saved all that money. And even if this whole startup had not worked out, I would still have learned that skill, which would have come in very handy in the next startup or somewhere in my life. If you look at it, the core of the problem here was my FOMO, my insecurity, my fear of missing out. When you see these news items coming to you from all these social media platforms, so from Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn, you see, oh, this person has built this unicorn, or this guy has done this crazy stuff, and good for them. But then we feel that we also have to do that. We start trying to shape our journey like somebody else's journey, but everybody's journey is different. Those people are not you. You are not them. You do not have to be like them. I did not understand this. And because I was in this crazy rush, I was this mad hurry to somehow build something, it kept telling me, oh, there is no time to learn. Learning feels like it's very, very slow. It takes time. But I'll tell you one thing. No matter how much time learning takes, ignorance will take more time. I'm saying this from my personal experience. When we are caught up in this anxiety and panic, what it does is that our thinking brain, what is called the prefrontal cortex, this is the portion of the brain which is here, which does all the thinking and the planning part. The prefrontal cortex goes offline when we are in panic or fear or anxiety. That is why we cannot think clearly. That is why we start running around very, very busy. We do lots of different things like headless chickens. We are running, but we are not making progress. But what if we just took a deep breath, slowed down, and then we took that time to actually learn something? Your brain will always tell you there is not enough time to learn. Wrong. There is always time to learn. But what about all these opportunities? This opportunity may not come again. People felt the same way in around early 2000. They said, oh, .com, this opportunity will not come again. A couple of years back, people were talking about crypto and blockchain and Web3. Now nobody talks about it. Today, all the talk is about AI. I can tell you one thing for sure. Opportunities will always be there. Opportunities are there today, they'll be there 5 years later, they'll be there 20 years later. Opportunities will only get bigger and bigger. But to capitalize on it, the only thing that matters is your skills and your capabilities. So let go of that FOMO, stop running around. It will take time anyway, but take that time and learn it. Thank you.